Hello everyone, Seraphin here, welcome back for more Fire Emblem Blazing Sword. When I last left you guys, we finished off a very important story chapter that was 28, Valorous Roland, and we are now moving on to chapter 29, Sands of Time. And as we saw in the last episode, Ninian is now dead. Slain by her, the only person she ever loved. Yeah, Nergal is a massive jerk, but we already knew that. Hector advises we all regroup back in Ostia, since we were already pretty much near there anyway. We're all really tired and we need some time to regroup and rest and whatnot. Most heavily guarded fortress in all of Lycia. Well, we better hope so. I love how they say this. No enemies should have been able to breach its walls. It's almost like they're inviting something bad to happen while we're here. But you guys didn't hear that from me, obviously. Alright, so we are only 2 chapters away from the very last one of the game. And here we are in Castle Ostia. We have the generic Ostian guards here. Lord Hector, you're home! He departed yesterday for a conference in Etruria. Go be housemaids, I guess, for a little while and make up some rooms. You know something, don't you? Tell me. What are we supposed to do now? Well, I guess Athos has a plan. But first, he's going to tell us all about his history with Nergal. He first met him 500 years ago, wandering the Nevada wasteland. I wonder what he was doing there. Interesting. Equals in power and knowledge. Like, Athos is regarded as, like, the most powerful sage in history, and this guy's like, I'm just as good and smart as you are. Like, wait a minute, where the heck did you come from? So what happened? We'll sit down and he'll tell you. A disagreement. You found a village, huh? Humans and dragons live together in cooperation, huh? That's literally just what he said. It's hidden away in this massive desert. Okay, so were they or weren't they like the ones you fought? Elowood, when did you come galloping in? Here's some really cool music right here. So here we see a flashback to several hundred years ago in the village of Arcadia. This is the refuge town where humans and dragons coexisted. And something that I never really quite noticed until much later on, you'll notice that there's 2 dragons in the window back there. The one on the left that you can see is an ice dragon, the one on the right is a fire dragon. And you can tell because the fire dragon's wings themselves are actually made of flames. They're not like physical wings with membranes and whatnot. They're actually made of fire. I always thought that was kind of interesting. I don't believe there's any other instances in the series where you see depictions of dragons in that particular fashion. So you'll see here that Nergal and Athos found this village and then created a magic barrier for them. Not that they needed it, considering nobody had ever heard of this place beforehand. Not even the esteemed sage that made this place his home, pretty much. And this is part of the reason why Athos, we find, retired to Nevada, because he found this place. This still does not explain how Athos managed to live this long. In fact, I don't believe they ever bothered to explain that either. How he's been such long-lived. Nergal's explanation makes sense because we find that he uses the essence of people that he kills and steals their life force and uses that to keep himself young. But we don't know how Athos does it. Something that there's a big theory is that Athos does the same thing. He's just not, I guess, not evil about it. That's one way to think about it. If you've seen the Doctor Strange movie, it's kind of like how the Ancient One uses the evil magic to retain her youth, even though she's lived for a long time, even though she tells everybody else not to use it. That's probably one of those things. I don't know that that's the case, because again, it's never actually explained that way, or confirmed to be the case, but... So Athos just wanted to live in peace and study, and Nergal, he's like, I'm going to use this ancient dragon knowledge, and he learned the art of stealing essence from people. It's kind of odd, because if that's something that was like a lost art that the dragons knew how to use, it seems like they would have employed that during their battle with the humans, unless they did. But there's precious little information on the actual scouring itself. The power bewitched him. Defeated him, or so we thought. It's kind of odd that you knew he wasn't dead, but you did nothing to stop him, knowing that he had this crazy power to steal people's essence and then create living things from that. Like, you'd think that Athos would have done something about Nergal in the ensuing 500 years that he's been around doing whatever he wanted. Although, I guess it doesn't necessarily had to have been 500 years. It could have just been, like, 20 or something. Like, because it doesn't say how long he was in Arcadia studying with him between meeting him and then being banished. It could have been a long time. But that particular time frame actually is never explained either. And here we are talking about the morphs that he created. Pale skin, jet black hair, blood red lips, and golden eyes as their distinctive features. We're under attack! An unknown group has breached the castle walls. How did they get in? Well, magic. They appeared out of nowhere. The castle guards were annihilated, and how are you still here? Well, I would quote a Game of Thrones thing here, but I'm gonna save that. His thugs. The throne must be protected. Why? Like, if someone takes the throne, just kill them and take them off of it. Like, the castle doesn't fall just because someone, like... That's the one thing I never understood. It's like, you need to defend the throne. It's like, what is it, a game of tag? Or a King of the Hill? As soon as someone touches the throne, you're just like, oh, we lose. Gotta surrender now. Like, what? No, just kill the guy. I never understood that. It's one of those things, too. You know, it's funny they mentioned that. So as Hector's saying, we need to defend the throne for... You see the goal here is protect the throne. I get 18 guys with which to do it, but I'm only going to use 14. I don't need to bring anybody more than that, so... We got the whole crew here that I'm planning on using long-term. So... you'll notice, actually, I do have Nils available, but I can't actually pick him. He can't take part. And you'll see Nils has all the same equipment that Ninian did when I still could use her, and he has the exact same stats, because they're effectively the same unit. I don't get him right now, but I believe I'll get to use him next chapter. And for the last one. In fact, I think he's forced in the last chapter, so... At any rate, I've already gone ahead and got everything squared away. We have the throne here. We have all my main lords starting here, and you'll see that this is not my entire force, because there's actually a forward team down here. As you see, there's plenty of dudes laying around intermediary. There's a treasure room here. Lots of dudes there, and then the entrance where they came in is right here. Including there's their boss right here. This guy looks like a... He's a guy. At any rate, there's another little treasure chest off in this little wing over here. So we have this little, I call them the elite forward team that I put here. That's going to consist of Wallace, Raven, Rebecca, and Lucius, and everybody else is going to be up here. They're all just going to kind of swarm forward and kill everything in a big massive wave. This is not a difficult map. So at any rate, what I was saying before, talking about... It's ironic that if someone takes the throne, that's it, they win, nothing you can do about it. There's a similar concept that I've always been puzzled by in the Pokemon games, in that it starts even in the very first ones, but it's like, you play effectively like a 10-year-old little boy or girl, I guess, in certain circumstances. And you're out training your own Pokemon, going on an adventure, yada, yada, yada. But you're also interacting with these evil criminal organizations like Team Rocket and Team Plasma and Team Galactic and all that. And it's like, oh, we're going to take over the world, we're going to do this and that. Notice this guy's just like a robot, he's just repeating the same thing. This is a message from Lord Nergal, I await you on the Dread Isle, that kind of thing. At any rate, what always bothered me about that is, yeah, these evil criminal organizations, they all have like their own Pokemon and you can beat them by beating other Pokemon, but it's like, okay, you lost a Pokemon battle to a 10-year-old boy, why aren't you guys carrying, like, you're an evil organization, aren't you carrying guns or something? Like, I guess guns don't exist in the Pokemon world, theoretically speaking, and I get that, but it's like, just beat the kid up, like, and I know that sounds bad, it really does sound really bad and horrible, but at the same time, it's like, what do they care? They're evil, like, they're effective. Team Rocket's basically the Mafia, they're run by Giovanni, for heaven's sake. Like, that doesn't seem like that'd be something that the Mafia would be above doing, if I'm being totally honest. And that's something that always bugged me. It's like, oh no, I've been defeated by this 10-year-old boy, I guess I have to surrender now. It's like, no. Like, pretty sure you can take him in a fight. Like, yeah, he might have, like, a Charizard or something, but it's like, who knows? I guess it really depends. So you see, the Castle Guard was not totally annihilated. We have a lot of these generic, mostly useless green knights here. They cannot be relied upon to do anything. They are terrible. They will die immediately. Same thing with these two here. I don't see any enemy thieves on the map at the moment, but they will be coming. They're going to bust down this door here. They're going to go for the treasure room, all that fun jazz. So we just need to hold fast and defend the throne for 11 turns. A lot of archers, a lot of shamans. There's a lone swordmaster here. Ooh, with a killing edge even. And then we have the boss himself, who's a sniper. He doesn't drop anything. He's just a random robot morph. What's annoying in this map, however, is there are these enemy druids, and almost all of them have status staves. So this one has a sleep staff. This one I believe has a berserk one. Oh, silence, it's even better. Silence prevents any spellcasters from doing anything. I guess it's just the two of them. In Hector mode and Hector hard mode especially, there's a lot more of them, and they have, some of them will have like berserk staves and crap, and it's just nasty. That being said, let's get to slaughtering some folks. That sounded bad. That being said, that is the majority of what you do in this game, is just going rampant killing sprees. And that being said, let's get going. We're going to send Elowood straight down here, away from that, you know, he's got more resistance than he does defense. I think he might be okay if I send him this way instead. Did I give him a javelin? No, I did not. That was a mistake. Does anybody have a javelin I can give him? No, I don't have any javelins because he doesn't have C rank and lances yet. He can't use one. So this will be fun. I guess I don't want him going in there at all. I'll send Lynn this way with a bow equipped, and she can handle probably the majority of these guys on her own. And then why don't we send Pent down there? Well, better yet, we'll send Kent. Kent will be my my go-to guy here. Although he's running out of ranged weapons as well. You know, what does he have for weapon ranks? B and A. All right. Well, tell you what, we're gonna go a Lanson. Kent's probably going to take a beating in the process, but I think he'll be okay. 44 HP is pretty darn solid. And he's not slow. He's just not as fast as I'd like him to be. But we will certainly provide him with some support in the form of our resident beat stick, Mr. Dart. We'll have Pent on station to help heal in the event that we need that. Hector, however, does have ranged weapons. So we'll stick him right here. He's got a ranged weapon, I should say. We are gonna send Elowood down this way, I think. No, I lied. I want him over here. I want him to be able out of the line of fire, but I also want him to be able to hit things. It occurs to me also that I didn't give anyone the Delphi shield. I probably should do that. We're gonna give that to Heath. Yeah. Let's get that out of the repository here. Send him on his way. We're going to keep Florina back because I don't want her getting torpedoed and taken out. That would be bad. Same with Legalt. And then my resident staff bot will bring up the rear, I suppose. And then we have the elite force out in front. Let's deal with that druid because I don't want him ruining my day right now. So I'll just pick him off with the longbow here. Druids make really nice targets. They die very easily to anything that's not magic. Lots of experience points. You know the drill. Lucius here, he can't really take a lot of physical hits, but I don't think one arrow is going to be that big of a deal to him. In fact, it's only a poison bow. Probably won't even hit him. So we're going to park Lucius right here. You'll see I gave him that aura tome. We're going to park Raven right here, and we'll give her a regular iron bow. Whoops. And Raven himself will have a hand axe. And Wallace will choke this point. Let's have that Swordmaster come see him and see what happens. I think that'll be amusing. I think that'll be incredibly amusing. Oh, look at that! Right away we get to see it. Here we go. That's so gratifying. You have no... Like, it's so good to watch a Swordmaster critically hit you and have it do nothing. By the way, Swordmaster animation crits are pretty sweet. You just saw one there. Wasn't really all that effective, obviously, but they do look really cool, to their credit. Oh, that's too funny. Oh wow, jeez, 24% any hit. So Dart is now poisoned. I'm sure I've covered poison at some point during this series, haven't I? Come on with these sub 40% hits with these poison weapons. All right, this Lucius dodged. Counters with a critical hit. At any rate, I swear I covered poison, just in case I haven't. So, poison weapons, they're very prevalent in this particular chapter. During hard mode and Hector's Quest in particular, there's a lot more chapters that have a greater prominence of poison weapons. They don't do very much damage. In fact, I think they do less than a typical iron weapon does. They're also not very accurate. I think they have the strength of sub-iron and the accuracy of sub-steel, which makes them awful. However, even if they don't do damage, if they do hit, they inflict the poison status, as you can see with that little purple flashing animation my guys have now. When a unit is poisoned, at the start of their turn, they will take between 1 and 3 damage. And that lasts for 5 turns, or until a Restore Staff is used on them to clear it. It is possible to die from poison damage. I don't know that I've ever actually had somebody succumb to that. It's incredibly rare. Just because the poison weapons themselves don't do hardly any damage, and usually it's inflicted on you at maximum health or dang near, so it doesn't really matter. If you get hit with the poison weapon a second time, it will refresh the turn count on it back up to 5, so, you know, there's that. But poison weapons altogether, not overly threatening. They're really just annoying, if nothing else. And it is very annoying, don't get me wrong. Oh, crud. Guy's a longbow. I really need to pay better attention to people who have longbows. Wow, silver bow and still doesn't do anything to Hector. Man, what a beast. Hector is incredible. Even with his subpar strength and speed right now, I guess his strength's mostly recovered at this point, but even with his pathetic speed, he's just the epitome of how great I think Armor Knights and Generals are. Like, they're just so good. Yeah, I get that they're not very fast, but they don't need to be fast. Like, they're still plenty capable of killing everything in sight, for the most part. And they also barely take any damage as a result, so why would you not want to field Armor Knights and Generals? That's why I feel it's a very big missed opportunity, or just something that I never understood a lot of people who don't like Armor Knights. It's like, come on, why? They're great. Maybe you don't like them, that doesn't make them bad. Oh, okay, these generic knights are actually doing some damage. I'm a little bit surprised. Normally they die very, very quickly and don't end up doing a whole lot of anything. Alright, so we're going to have Wallace just kind of stand here and whip spears, I think, at people's faces. That sounds like a good plan, right? I could let him go have some Devil Axe fun, but at the same time I don't really want to leave him with that in case he ends up getting killed by it. Which, knowing my luck, he probably would. Skill, luck, and defense, not bad. That being said, he's only got a 15% chance of backfiring with the Devil Axe. His luck's pretty darn solid for an Armor Knight. Or for a General, I should say. So, you know what? Good for him. And we'll have Raven take care of this fellow here. You better not get hit. Okay, good. Again, with the unnecessary critical hits, those happen a lot. Never really understood why. You know, I'm going to go ahead and give Lucius some staff experience, because I'd like him to be able to use physics staffs by the end of by the last chapter, so We're going to restore this guy. Cure him of his poison status. And Rebecca doesn't have a whole lot of anything to do. I guess she can go hunting with her longbow and take out this other druid who has the sleep staff. Make things a little less annoying for us. That'll get her another level. Puts her level 8, okay. Man, with her strength growth. Her skill's not anywhere near as good as it should be, but I think she's more than making up for that by her ability to kill things. Boas generally don't have any issues hitting things. At least not in my experience. So, it's usually not a major concern. Alright, Ella, would go to town on these guys, would you? I'm going to give him as much lance experience as I can. I'd like him to be able to use short spears and killer lances. If I can get him to B, that'd be awesome. Then he can use the really big spear, but I sincerely doubt he'll get that far. Hector doesn't need to have S-rank axes. Well, he already does. So we'll let him swing around with his crazy awesome iron blade for a little while. That he's just not even phased by in terms of weight because he's Hector. I don't know if this map has reinforcement. I know some guys will spawn out of these stairways up here at some point. I don't know if any more like show up toward the front gate here or anything. That boss will move, by the way. If you're in range of him, he'll come attack you. In fact, it looks like he's going to do that to Rebecca here with a longbow, but she'll be able to fire back. I don't think killing him will deter reinforcements from spawning, but don't quote me on that. Because, if I'm being totally honest, I don't know. I'm willing to bet that's probably the case, because a lot of maps are like, man, with all the random critical hits all over the place. Heath is a boss, by the way, if you hadn't already guessed. And we'll have Lynn dispatch with this sniper here. Fun fact, Lynn can use the Wodao. I thought it was only Swordmasters, but again, Lynn technically does count as a Swordmaster, so she can use the Wodao as well. So if she needs a little extra critical hit chance, that's the way we're going to go. Normally I would just give her a killing edge, but that thing has even more, so... let's have Pent start mopping some people up, why don't we? He could use some experience in combat. Not that he needs it, really. Pent's just really, really good out of the box, if I'm being totally honest. I do want to get him to S-rank Anima, though, so we can use the S-rank Anima Tome. I could probably make it there before too long. And we'll have Dart crush the hopes and dreams of one of these archers. Again, completely unnecessary critical hit, but you know what? They're fun. When I decide to start playing through this on Hector hard mode, it's going to be a lot more important to land important critical hits. I think he's closer with S transferring with lances than he is with swords, so might as well encourage the growth in that department. Kent sadly did not turn out anywhere near as good as I wanted him to this chapter. And if I'm going to leave anybody behind for the last chapter, it's probably going to be him, despite how much I love Cavaliers and Paladins. Okay, well, he's coming around a little bit. He's just not up to snuff with the rest of my team at this point, unfortunately. Even Rebecca outstrips him strength-wise, which is pretty bad. He should have a lot more than that. I'm not saying he's not a bad unit, don't get me wrong. It's just he didn't turn out as good as I wanted him to this playthrough, and that happens. Unfortunately, even the best units are completely susceptible to getting RNG screwed. It's not something that's fun to talk about, but it happens, and it happens a lot, so... It's something that every player, I think, has to be prepared to accept in certain circumstances. Oh, Merlinus. So Merlinus is my throne guard here, considering no one's going to be able to kick him off of the dang thing. Which is okay. Yep, here comes the boss. He's a very interesting shade of purple. This guy I don't think is going to do a whole lot to her if he even does hit. How cool would it have been if Rebecca just kind of crit him in the face right there? I think that would have been cool. And also, a fun thing I've noticed too is that the enemies tend to go for the generic green guys before they'll attack your own people, so they can... Okay, not every time. But a lot of times they're incentivized to attack the neutral guards first, so they kind of serve as nice little meat shields to keep some fire away from your own team and onto people that, quite frankly, don't really matter all that much. That sounds terrible, I know, but... And here comes Wallace with the spear chucking again. Absolutely just whipping these things at people's heads. Oh, now he's poisoned. Well, thankfully I have Lucius up there to cure him of that, so that's okay. Wallace with the spear is a little bit scary. Wallace with a Brave Lance is even scarier because then he hits twice. See, I know I talk about it a lot, but I really cannot understand why people don't love Armored Knights and Generals. I'm sure I'm generalizing. It just seems like a lot of the Fire Emblem population that I watch or interact with is just not fond of them, and I'm like, why? They're so good. Yeah, they're slow. I get it, but holy smokes, you guys. This is my problem. What's gonna happen is it's gonna go down to the point where it's like someone's like, fight me with an all armor knight team, and it's gonna be like, well, I'll probably lose because they have a lot of glaring weaknesses. Armor Knights are great. You just can't use them on their own. They need some help. Like they need healing support in case they get magic attack. They have crappy resistance. They get doubled a lot. They have Berserkers. I would argue was a really solid counter to a general or just a straight up mage, because they die to mages very, very easily. I could let Rebecca take this kill, or I could let Wallace do it. Cavaliers? Interesting. What I'll probably actually do is, I'm not actually going to kill this guy, just because I don't want to. Again, I don't know if killing him is going to trigger the end of reinforcements. I would hope not, but you never know. I suppose I could try landing a Devil Axe hit on him, see if that makes a difference. Yeah, why not? Let's go for it. Hey, nice. And that he's only going to be able to hit one of those two Cavaliers with it, and I sincerely doubt he'll have enough damage to kill himself with it. Yeah, there's no way. As strong as that thing is. Oh shoot, I should have revitalized him first with Restore Staff. Totally blanked on that. I'm actually going to have Raven come down and guard the door in case that thief decides to come open it. Alright, and we're going to get Nergal down here to bust open some treasure, because everybody loves treasure. And we'll have Heath take out this here silly little shaman, who thinks he's doing guard duty? Question mark? I don't know. Could be any number of things at this point. And then we'll have Florina bust that door down. I keep forgetting how ridiculously strong she is, and how much sense it just doesn't make. Sadly, I only have one Restore Staff, and Priscilla does not have it, so she cannot heal, or restore, rather, the people up here that probably need it more. But, you know what? That's okay. And I really should keep her out of the line of fire, too. I'm just realizing now. But I think I've got more than enough people here that I can deal with them. Let's have Kent handle this particular fellow. Yay, Paladin crits! My favorite. General crits are also really great. You know what? Critical animations in general are just really solid and fun in this whole franchise, I think. Can't really complain about any of them, if I'm being totally honest. And then, I guess Dart can run up here and whack this guy one. Or whack him effectively 7 times with that right there, more or less. Berserker's so good. And then Pent can, wow, one shot with this guy with an Hellfire Tome. Hellfire's a really fun spell. I don't quite know where the naming convention for Hellfire came from. I'm starting to wonder if it's like a translation thing. Come on, Pent, really? He's only leveled HP and defense since I've gotten him. I guess he got 1 point of speed and 1 point of skill. But still, he needs to get better level ups than that. I'm reminded that he's a pre-promote and therefore not necessarily great at growth rates, just comes at a really good level with really good stats and really good weapon ranks. He's technically not supposed to be like the main guy as far as your anima using, but he comes so good you can't help but not use him. I can't help but not use him, so I mean, let's be honest. Oh, I could wolf bail this guy. No, remember that. I guess Iron Blade it is. That's alright. It still looks really cool. Alrighty, that's pretty much it for my team. Ooh, a Sword Slayer. You don't say. Alright, well, we're going to do the enemy phase next turn. Or next episode, rather, I should say. We're easily most of the way through this already, so... we will finish Chapter 29 in the next episode, and then it's on to the resupply mission, which I'll do on screen, but it's going to be really quick. It's probably going to be a short episode, if I'm being totally honest. It might only be 15-20 minutes. Apologies, I guess that's going to make up for some of the long ones we've been having lately, but we'll see when we get there. But that being said, next episode, 29, Part 2, and then on to Supply Mission. So until that time, thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. We're nearly finished. But until next time, I will see you in the next video. This has been Seraphin. Have a great evening.